Tuesday, 9:10 a.m. Executive conference room at Frost Fabrication. I'm in my usual spot in the back corner, feeling the cold air from the AC blowing down the back of my neck. Marion Frost is at the head of the table, her gavel-like presence a reminder of who runs this place. She announces we won the Hartswell Gearworks deal, $39 million in booked revenue. The applause is deafening, like she just discovered the cure for cancer. I stare down at my notebook, tapping my pen against the paper. I've run the numbers over and over. In every scenario, we're losing. Labor costs, penalties, margin, shrink. The deal's going to bleed us dry by at least $4.4 million. I handed Marion a 13-page risk memo 2 weeks ago. She barely skimmed it before tossing it aside like a crumpled receipt. But here we are, celebrating a victory that feels more like a mugging. Lila catches my eye across the table, her smile tight, her head giving a tiny shake. Don't challenge, Mom. Not here, not ever. It's a warning I've learned to heed. I've been here 5 years, putting together CFO-level builds for a senior analyst title and a salary that doesn't even cover rent in this overpriced city. Every win I get, every model I build, ends up being Frost Family Strategy in the emails, with my name conveniently missing. Marion calls me son when the cameras are on, but when they're off, I'm just support staff. The applause keeps going, but I can't help but feel like I'm watching my own funeral procession. They see my value. They just won't pay for it unless my last name is Frost. 3 weeks later, I'm sitting at my kitchen island in Hoboken, headphones in, trying to finish a quarterly report. It's past 9 p.m. when my inbox pings with an email from HR titled Updated Benefit Information. I almost delete it without opening. I mean, HR never sends anything that's good news, but I click it anyway. The first line knocks the wind out of me. Your company-paid life insurance has increased from $2.5 million to $15.5 million. Effective immediately. No explanation, no discussion. Just a fact that feels like someone slapped me across the face. I stare at the screen. $15.5 million. What the hell? I haven't even been given a raise. Hell, I haven't even been given a real title. I shoot off an email to HR, hitting send before I can stop myself. What's this about? Please explain. A few minutes later, June from HR calls. I can't even bring myself to speak until I hear her voice. It's strained, like she's reading from a script. Executive-level responsibilities. I cut her off. I'm not an executive. She doesn't even flinch. Mr. Frost authorized it. Marion. Of course. I'm about to ask for more clarification, but I don't. I know this isn't about me. It's about something else entirely. I pull up my calendar, scrolling through the last few weeks. March 22nd, policy increase. That's 4 days after I closed the supplier renegotiation that saved Frost $5.8 million annually. 4 days. And it's not a coincidence. Not when Marion starts sending me on these operational cost checks around midnight. Southline stamping on Monday, Rutherford inventory on Wednesday, then Dover Chem where the vents were wheezing, and a guy almost passed out. All solo trips. All of them happen in the middle of the night, like I'm supposed to clean up whatever mess she's made, but without a spotlight. Lila says it's paying dues. Her brother Tate. He just nods and says, Mom knows what she's doing. Everyone's a pawn in her game. I'm just the guy who doesn't know how to shut up. I keep thinking about those late-night shifts, about Marion's cold approval of my life insurance, and the way it doesn't make any damn sense. I could feel something was wrong, but I didn't have proof yet, and I wasn't ready to name it. I start sleeping with my shoes on, because, honestly, at this point, who knows what's coming next? I'm not even sure I'm ready for it, but I'm sure it's coming. It's the 4th day of my first real break in 6 years, and I'm sitting on a quiet terrace in Camara de Lobos, Madeira. The sun's low, spilling gold across the ocean, turning everything soft, warm. It should feel like the rest I've earned, the break I fought for, the space between me and everything I left behind. But it doesn't. I can't shake the weight of the last few months, or the gnawing feeling that I'm not done yet. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I glance down. Marion, then again, then again. I answer before I can stop myself. "Do you think you deserve this?" Marion snarls. Her voice is loud enough for the table beside me to hear, the words cutting through the calm like a knife. "While we carry your weight, don't come back." She hangs up without waiting for a response. The call drops like a rock in my gut. I sit there, staring at the screen, the buzzing in my ears still ringing. A second passes, maybe two. I feel the breeze on my face, but I can't shake the tightness in my chest. Then I hear a soft clink of glass beside me. I look up to find a woman, probably in her late 40s, giving me a curious look. She's holding a glass of something clear, probably gin, and raising it in my direction. Her smile is faint, not friendly, not hostile, just knowing. "Rough call?" she asks, raising an eyebrow. I give a half laugh, the kind you make when you don't know whether to punch something or let it go. "Yeah, you could say that." She clinks her glass to mine. "I'll drink to that. Cheers." We sit there in silence for a moment, the kind of silence that feels like it could last forever, until she sets her drink down and introduces herself. "Nora Keaton," she says, extending a hand. "CEO of Helios Industrial Systems." My stomach twists. Helios? The company Marion's been bragging about crushing for years? The one that's always the competition? The one we're always better than? I don't know why, but I laugh. Not because it's funny, but because for the first time in months, it feels like something's real, like the weight I've been carrying is finally starting to slip off my shoulders. She doesn't seem fazed by my reaction. She just leans back in her chair, taking a slow sip of her drink, studying me. We talk for hours, past the point when the sun's dipped below the horizon, past the last glimmer of light. She doesn't pitch anything, she just listens. She talks about the future, about Helios's plans to expand into the East Corridor, and how they don't win by underbidding or cutting corners, the way Frost does. It's the kind of talk I'd expect from someone with a plan, someone who doesn't just see the finish line, but the path to get there. She talks about doing things the right way, and for the first time in a long time, I find myself thinking, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could build something from the ground up that doesn't rely on cheap shots or taking someone else down to get ahead. She smiles after a long pause, setting her glass down on the table. "Call me if you want to build things the right way." I feel the weight shift again, this time in a way I wasn't expecting. Not just the weight of Marion's betrayal, but something heavier, something that feels like freedom, even though I don't know exactly what I'm walking into yet. But I know this, I'm not going back to that townhouse. Not like this. Not after that call. I nod, offering a tight smile. I might just do that. I'm sitting on the overnight flight back to Newark, the cabin lights dimmed and the hum of the engines a constant in my ears. The seat's cramped, but I don't care. I pull out Nora's folder, the one she handed me on that terrace, and start flipping through it. The first half is straightforward. Salary, equity, the team I'd be building. It's clean, fair. Exactly what I should have been offered years ago. The second half is what makes my stomach twist. Public intel on Frost. 11 contracts losing money. Deferred maintenance flagged in OSHA reports. Supplier attrition. Turnover at 31%. It's all there, staring me down. And the cash model, it's a ticking time bomb. Insolvency in 14 months, unless they raise capital or start slashing staff. I know that's not a coincidence either, but the worst part, the appendix. It's a breakdown of executive compensation. My $15.5 million life insurance increase, that's the largest one. And it was authorized by Marion on March 22nd, just days after I saved Frost $5.8 million on that supplier deal. I scroll through my calendar. March 22nd, the policy increase. 14 days later, April 4th, I'm at Southline for a walkthrough, and a forklift grazes my hip. Not an accident. April 18th, I'm on a catwalk at Rutherford when a loose bracket nearly takes me down. Then, May 9th, Dover Chem. A vent fails, and I'm in the ER with a stress-related diagnosis. Each of these audits, these late-night checks, came right after I had saved the company from some massive, avoidable loss. I'm no superstitious guy. I like numbers, and the numbers, they look like a plan. I run my fingers over the paper, a cold sweat creeping across the back of my neck. By the time the plane starts its descent into Newark, I've pieced it together. All the pieces of the puzzle fall into place. The insurance increase, the random audits, the close calls. Every time I prevented disaster, Marion made sure I paid for it, one close call at a time. I get off the plane in a daze, head pounding with what I've just realized. I book a room at the airport Marriott. No calls, no texts. I shut my phone off, wanting nothing more than silence. The bed feels strange under me, not like rest, more like a place to sit still until the next thing happens. But I don't sleep. Instead, I stare at the ceiling. The city lights outside flicker, but my mind's still racing. I'm not going back to that townhouse like nothing happened. Not to Marion's world, not to the Frost family game. I can't. I roll over and shut my eyes, but sleep doesn't come. It's not just a corporate mess anymore. It's personal. I drive to Hoboken with my mind buzzing, the kind of buzzing that makes my hands shake on the wheel. I just need to grab some clothes, a charger, maybe a few essentials before I figure out what the hell comes next. But when I pull up to the townhouse, I know it's not about that anymore. 4 cars crowd the curb. Marion's black S-Class, Lila's white Audi, her dad's old pickup, Tate's Subaru. My stomach sinks, the weight of what's coming crashing down. They're waiting for me, seated around the dining room table like a tribunal. Marion's at the head, of course. Lila's sitting to her right. Tate and his eyes, wide and lost, sit on the other side. The smiles are polite, too polite, like they've been rehearsed. They look more like a net than a welcome. They know what's coming, and they're not going to let me off easy. Sit. Marion's voice cuts through the silence like a blade. I don't sit. I stay standing, my feet planted. I'm not here for a show, not anymore. She glares at me, like I'm the one who's out of line. Your trip, it's a tantrum. Hartswell's faltering because you weren't there to clean it up. I want to laugh, but I don't. I've been cleaning up messes for years, picking up the pieces of her decisions. But this time, it wasn't my fault. The deal was doomed the day you underbid the timeline, I say, keeping my voice steady, controlled. Her smile falters for just a second, but then she slides a folder across the table. It's thick. The weight of it is all wrong. I don't need to open it to know what's inside. I flip it open anyway. Severance. $55,000. A 24-month non-compete clause. It says I'm banned from working in industrial fabrication east of the Mississippi. My jaw tightens. The NDA's there too. Signed. And then, at the bottom, divorce papers. Already signed by Lila, dated 2 days ago. I put the papers down, without saying anything. My heart is still. The way it gets when you know something's over. But you're still pretending you didn't see it coming. I look them all over, one by one. You boosted my life insurance to $15.5 million the same week those late-night audits started. My voice doesn't shake. I don't give them the satisfaction. Marion's face goes flat, like a switch was flipped. Her eyes go cold, hard, the way I've seen them when she's about to tear someone down. Lila, though, Lila just shrugs, dismisses it with a wave of her hand. You're being dramatic, she says, like this is all some joke. She doesn't even look at me when she says it. Tate's confused at first. Then something else flickers across his face. Maybe it's fear. He looks at me, like he's just starting to realize what's been going on. But he doesn't say anything. He doesn't move. I turn and walk out of the room, my head clear, even though my hands are shaking. I pack 2 suitcases in silence. I don't need to say goodbye, because there's nothing left to say. Tate's waiting by the door when I grab the bags. He doesn't say much, but he looks at me with something close to regret. Be careful, he whispers, his voice tight. I nod, but I don't know what careful even means anymore. I don't look back as I walk out the door. I don't know if it's because I'm angry or because I've finally realized that what's broken can't be fixed. Either way, I'm done. I get in the car and dial Nora's number. It rings twice before she picks up. We have a temporary apartment in Jersey City, she says. Keys will be at the desk. I don't know why, but I feel like I've just crossed some line, like things can't be undone. The weight of it feels different now. Maybe it's the first breath after holding my lungs tight for so long. Friday morning, I'm sitting in a corner office in Midtown, the city skyline stretching out like a backdrop I'm not sure I belong in. Ruth Delgado, the attorney I called, after Tate gave me the recording, is scanning through the Frost paperwork, flipping pages with the kind of efficiency I wish I could have managed through the last few years. She looks up at me, her eyes sharp. "Retaliatory termination during approved leave," she says, the words sinking in slowly. "That non-compete?" She shakes her head, a smirk pulling at her lips, though there's no humor in it. "Unenforceable." She sets the stack of papers down. "Sign, take the cash, and expect Frost to bluff later. When they sue, we counter with wrongful termination and discovery. Keep every receipt." Her voice is steady, like this is all just part of a routine, like it's not personal, but I feel the weight of it all, the tension in my shoulders, the sinking in my gut, and I nod, trying to absorb it. I don't even think about it long. I sign. What else is there to do? The severance package is an insult, but it's something. Ruth says she'll file the papers Monday, that I'll have a fight ahead of me, but it's better than what Frost thinks I deserve. Better than the hollow apology they'll pretend to give when they see that I'm not backing down. By Monday, 8:55 a.m., I'm shaking Nora's hand in Helios's sleek conference room. People look me in the eye when I talk. They don't look past me or around me like I'm just background noise. I speak and they listen. It's strange in a good way. My new office has real windows, not the little slit of glass I got at Frost, where the view of the alley was more of a reminder of where I wasn't than where I was going. It's the kind of office that feels like a fresh start, even though I know I'm not done yet. Thursday afternoon, a vase of white peonies and black dahlias shows up on my desk. The card inside reads, "Enjoy career suicide, MF." I stare at it for a long minute. The flowers are beautiful, but the words hit me in a way I didn't expect. It's like a parting shot from Marion, some final attempt to remind me who's really in charge. I don't even hesitate. I take the whole damn thing and walk straight to the trash can, dumping it without a second thought. The next Tuesday, Daniel Kerr from the SEC shows up. He's a tall guy, clean cut, wearing a dark suit that screams official. His voice is cold when he introduces himself, but there's an edge to it. Fraud allegations. Emails I supposedly sent to Nora before I was fired. Emails dated early September. I don't have to look at the printouts to know they're lies. The emails show my Frost address, but I never sent them. I don't even remember writing them. Ruth calls a forensics guy on the spot, telling me to hang tight, to trust that this is just another play by Frost to ruin me. Nora looks me dead in the eye as Kerr lays out the printouts. Her expression is tight, but there's something there, a glimmer of resolve. "We fight," she says, her words firm, no hesitation. I don't feel comforted by the words. I don't even feel reassured. But I nod anyway, because this is the part where I'm supposed to believe we can fight it, that the truth will win. I go home that night shaking, my hands clenched into fists that don't seem to calm down. The truth is, I'm scared. I'm scared of what comes next. Scared of the weight of this battle, the toll it's going to take. But there's no turning back now. The stakes are too high. And I'm not going to let Marion or Frost win without a fight. It's 11:32 p.m. when my phone rings. I'm lying on the couch in my Jersey City apartment, staring at the ceiling, still feeling the weight of everything that's been happening. It's Tate. His voice is barely a whisper when he speaks. "Can you meet me? I can't do this on the phone." I glance at the clock, wondering if I should say no, but I know that I can't. Not now. I throw on a jacket and head out, the cold night air hitting me like a shock. We meet at a diner off 8th Avenue, the neon sign flickering above us like it's tired of the city's noise. Tate looks wrecked. His eyes are bloodshot. His clothes rumpled like he's been up for days. He doesn't look like someone who's just made a decision, but someone who's been holding something in for far too long. "I couldn't sleep," he says, his voice thick. He drops into the booth across from me, hands shaking. "I went past Mom's study. I recorded something." He pulls out his phone and hits play. Marion's voice cuts through the quiet diner, so cold it feels like it's coming from a different room entirely. Backdate the messages to September 6th. Use his IP logs. The SEC won't dig deep on a corporate complaint. The investigation alone will ruin him. Then, the IT director's voice, quiet but compliant. Yes, ma'am. Tate slides me the file, an audio file and a collection of screenshots that make my stomach lurch. It's all there. The plan to fabricate emails, the attempt to cover up everything. I can't breathe for a moment, just staring at the phone, my fingers numb. Tate looks at me, his eyes hard but full of something else, something close to relief. I'm done being quiet. Do what you need to do. I can tell what this is costing him. He knows this is going to cost him everything, maybe even his relationship with his mother. And still, he doesn't blink. He doesn't hesitate. I don't know what to say. I don't have the words for this kind of betrayal, not from Marion, not from the people I thought were family. Instead, I just nod, unable to get anything else out. By 8:10 a.m. the next day, Ruth has the audio. A forensics lab is already running checks on the metadata from the emails. Ruth tells me to keep my head down, to stay off the radar while they build the case. But I'm not scared anymore. The weight of the last few months, all of it, is finally starting to lift. We walk into the SEC office later that afternoon. We drop the binders on the counter, policy increase dates, audit assignments, ER reports, performance reviews, all of it. We have everything, and I know it's just a matter of time. 2 weeks later, the news breaks. Cameras catch federal agents walking Marion out of Frost HQ in cuffs. Conspiracy, obstruction, wire fraud. My phone lights up with calls from numbers I don't recognize, calls from people I haven't heard from in months, even years. It's all noise. But I answer only one call. Tate's voice is quiet on the other end. Mom says I betrayed the family. I close my eyes, leaning against the wall, and for the first time, I feel like I can finally breathe. You saved my life, I say, my voice low but steady. And you did the right thing. Don't ever think you didn't. There's a pause, like he's trying to find the words to respond, but all I hear is a soft sigh. He doesn't say anything else. I don't go to trial. My deposition stands. The IT director flips, crumbling under the weight of the truth. He testifies that Marion ordered the email fabrication, used admin credentials, and scrubbed the logs. It's airtight. I don't even have to speak in court. I just sit there, listening to the details fall into place like pieces of a puzzle. The jury takes 3 hours. 3. Guilty on all counts. The sentencing comes down fast. 17 years. The judge says the attempted destruction of a worker's career through fabricated evidence warranted a heavy hand. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse. Marion's face doesn't change when they read it, but I can see the cracks in her carefully constructed facade. She's been playing this game for so long, she thought she could win. I sit in my apartment that night, staring out at the Hudson, watching the water move like it's got its own quiet rhythm. The lights of the city blur in the distance, and I can't shake the feeling that, for all this, I should be celebrating. But I'm not. I don't feel anything like victory. It's just relief. Nothing more, nothing less. Frost Fabrication misses its debt covenants. A few weeks later, they file for Chapter 11. The trustee starts listing assets, and I see the inevitable unfolding, like a slow-motion crash. Precision Assemblies, though. It's different. It's a clean division, still running strong with solid contracts and a reliable team. 210 jobs. Good people. I get the call from Nora in early December. Her voice is steady, but there's an edge to it. She's not asking for permission, she's telling me what's next. If you can stomach it, I want Helios to buy Precision Assemblies, she says. Full employment guarantees, no layoffs. We're not gutting it, we're keeping it. It's an opportunity, but it's not a clean one. I know what it means, what it costs to buy a company out of bankruptcy, especially one that's been gutted by bad leadership. I'm ready to walk away, but I also know how this game is played. I dive into the diligence process for 2 grueling weeks. I'm awake more than I sleep, diving into financials, talking to managers, piecing together what went wrong and what can be salvaged. The division's worth about $64 million as a going concern, but bankruptcy forces a fast sale. We bid $44 million. It's a fair offer, given the circumstances, but it's a lot of money for a division that's been beaten down. The court accepts the bid. The next morning, I drive to Trenton to meet with the floor's supervisors. I park in the lot, take a deep breath, and walk inside, trying to keep my face neutral. It's not a grand speech that's needed here. It's something simpler. I spot June from HR. She's looking at me with that same professional indifference she always had at Frost. She's one of the few people who ever had a real grasp on what was going on, even if she stayed quiet about it. I also see Jordan, the junior I trained at Frost, the kid who probably had no idea how bad things were getting until he was already in over his head. I don't waste time with pleasantries. I stand in front of the group of supervisors, the whole team waiting, watching, nervous. They expect the worst. Your jobs are safe, I say, letting the words land heavy. I can feel them all exhale at once, the tension that's been there for too long finally lifting. There's no applause, there's no cheering, just relief. The kind that comes when you've been holding your breath too long and you can finally let it out. I don't give them a pep talk. I don't need to. I go to the back of the room and stand quietly. I'm not here to be their hero. I'm just here to make sure they have a job to go back to. Nothing more, nothing less. Saturday, I meet Tate for coffee in the West Village. He looks 10 pounds lighter and 5 years older. We sit by the window, not as brothers, but as two people who've both been through hell and come out the other side. Lila moved to Portland, Tate says. To reset, he adds, the words heavy. He rubs his face like it's still not quite real. Diane won't take his calls, and I can tell there's no real closure in his voice. But when he looks at me, he says, I'd do it again anyway. He means the tape, the betrayal, the choice he made. There's no regret in his eyes, just a quiet understanding that, sometimes, doing the right thing comes at a cost. Back at Helios, January's a blur. I hire 3 analysts, flip 2 supplier deals without squeezing them dry, and kill that win-at-any-cost mentality before it can get any foothold. The place feels different now. Real. Like we're building something that lasts. I still wake up at 3 a.m. some nights, the shadows of old habits creeping back in. But it passes quicker now. The panic. The tightness in my chest. Like I'm learning how to breathe again. The integration day at Precision Assemblies feels like another shift. Another step towards something better. I watch the line leads walk into Helios HR and leave with the same pay, better health coverage. One of them, Miguel, grips my hand hard. I thought we were done, he says, his voice thick with relief. I look him in the eye. So did I. A week later, a bankruptcy reporter asks if I feel vindicated. I don't. I feel steady, I say. It's the truth. He looks disappointed. I don't care. At home that night, I sit by the window, staring out at the lights across the river. I think about Madeira, about that terrace where everything felt like it was slipping through my fingers. I thought I'd lost everything, but somehow I gained a second shot. Marion wanted me erased. Instead, she made me visible, not in headlines, the kind that fade, but in ways that matter, in the way my team asks questions, in the way suppliers return my calls, in the way Tate sleeps at night. People like to imagine revenge feels like fireworks. For me, it feels like payroll meeting on Friday, and no one afraid of night shifts. It's the quiet click of a door I don't have to walk through again.